What I miss most from my dancing days was actually the whole community and camaraderie between different crews and teams. Even though we're all from different teams back then, we would still actually just come together and watch each other practice and cheer each other on, especially during competition season. So there was an instance where a lot of teams were preparing for NYP Groove back then. Different teams really just come to each other and like, hey guys, do you want to do a cross sharing or cross vetting so that we can work on what we have to work on together. And the whole supper after that, everyone would just come together or wait for each other to finish their rehearsals and then head over to Woodlands MRT, take away some food and just sit at what we call the sampan or the Titanic, and just really slack, I would say. Like sit down, eat, talk, and all the way till we have to catch the last train or bus. Yeah, I miss that the most. My name is Taufiq, but I'm known as ET. So currently I'm a dance educator at 5th Avenue and Dance Factory. So why I do what I do is mostly to give back to the community and help it grow from the next generation onwards. Because when I was younger, I didn't have that figure to teach me or to guide me in the correct direction. So I want to be that person for someone else. What got me to dance is pretty much the exposure to MTV and the whole YouTube dance era, I would say, where ABDC was around, with Jabberwockies and everything. And I was actually inspired by my seniors. So in two instances actually. In primary school, some of my seniors were actually breaking, so I tried that out as a start. I saw my seniors shuffling and doing jump style back in secondary school, and I thought it was really cool. Like, I was in NS and then COVID hit, so the whole circuit breaker lockdown thing happened. And then I realized that I needed a steady paying job that dance couldn't provide at that point in time for me. So I took a very, very long backseat in the whole traditional Singaporean lifestyle in terms of career, and that meant that I had to put dance either on stop or at a really slower pace. I think in 2017, coming from a very street background, doing hard-hitting hip-hop and all that, I actually talked to my mentor and said that I wanted to do contemporary, I wanted to learn contemporary, and quite a few street dancers around me were actually laughing at me like, why would you want to do that? It's not you, just stay on, choreographing hip-hop items. And, after that, I think it's very evident. You can see like, nowadays it's really a blend of everything coming to one. What got me into teaching was actually my seniors in SGC. Like the way they imparted their knowledge onto me when I was a freshie, I think that really kickstart something in me. Like being able to give back in your own craft and having people learn from it and improve and grow from it. I think that's the biggest takeaway any teacher would have. For teaching, you can't really put a price on teaching and what you get from it. Yes, you get your salary and everything, but to me what matters the most is seeing my students grow. I created Dropouts as a place for people to belong and to get opportunities. Because growing up, I didn't get much opportunities. I had to open my own, and it really was a hard thing being a young dancer who really didn't know what he was doing, knocking on so many doors and just taking whatever comes. But I want to be that person who provides opportunities for people, and the right opportunities at that. Like giving them platforms to teach, giving them platforms to choreograph, giving them platforms to compete together. But most importantly, giving them a platform to be in a community that feels like a family.
My name is Tan Shane Lee. People call me Shane, or I'm also known as Shane Too Sweet. I'm a b-boy, been dancing for about 13 years. Also a DJ and a music producer. I represent many different crews, but I think the notable ones that is important to me is Top Gangs, Adapia, Rockers Tribe, of course Left Mind International, and Matt Black as well, which is a DJ crew. I guess I've been always surrounded by dance. My grandparents were ballroom dancers. They actually met on the dance floor, and my grandfather was like a ballroom instructor of sorts, right? So I think from a very young age, they've always been sort of teaching me and my sister how to dance. So things like waltz, cha-cha, foxtrot, and some of those basic or more, I guess, common type of ballroom styles. They would always organize really large gatherings, like especially for like their wedding anniversaries and such, or where you know, they would gather about like 400 different people, relatives and friends. And the highlight was always that there was a dance floor there, so you would see a lot of people doing ballroom dance, waltz, cha-cha, etc., or even like line dancing and all that, right? So from a very young age, I was participating in these kinds of things already. But you know, ballroom wasn't really my thing, or I guess when I was young, you know, I wanted something a bit more cool, more modern, more hip in that sense. And that's when, you know, it was the MTV era, see a lot of music videos and stuff. So I remember watching this video by Bong Funk MC, or Freestyler, and I think that was probably one of the earlier times that I saw breaking, right, or on TV, or just breaking in general. Later on, did I find out that it was actually Flomo Crew, who were actually in that video, or Savage Feet, right? They were actually two different crews that sort of came together and such. But that was my first sort of exposure, or one of my early exposures to breaking. And I think about when I was 17, that's when I went to college, and I joined a dance club. And that's when I saw all sorts of different street styles like popping, locking, hip-hop, and breaking was obviously there. I tried all the different styles, but somehow breaking was the one that just kind of stuck with me. So I've been practicing it ever since. I met my crew, Top Gangs, at the dance studio at the college itself. They were kind of just hanging around there and dancing, and I learned a lot from you know, my teachers, Leo and Hong at the time. So that's kind of how I started. And then from there, I went over to the UK and then sort of expanded my journey. So I think most of my dance career was actually overseas, traveling around Europe, competing, judging, teaching as well. I met a lot of friends there, a lot of mentors, like my mentor Time, giving my name, Too Sweet. He's from Bad Taste Crew, and also Mouse from Floor Gangs, also a very important sort of person in my life. My crews like KKZ and Rockers Tribe was actually also formed there. To be honest, what made me, I would say, slow down on dance was mostly COVID, and also shifting of priorities. I think, you know, I live alone. I'm from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur originally. So I've been here about 7 years, and a chunk of that, like 2 or 3 years itself, was, you know, the whole COVID situation, where unfortunately living in a studio apartment by yourself is quite a stressful situation. And because there was not really a lot of space for me to dance to begin with, so things just kind of slowed down. And the natural thing was to focus more on DJing, which is more accessible for me. I have a day job as a solution consultant in software. So when things started to get a little bit more hectic there, you know, I started focusing more on progressing my career in technology. And because of these shift in priorities and such, things just kind of took a turn. Not getting younger as well. I felt the change in my body, you know, as I started to get older and stuff. So, you know, I can't do the same sort of moves as easily as before. And I felt that, I started to feel that, you know, things like my flexibility, a lot of these different things, is harder for me to sort of maintain, right? As you get older, I feel that you need to actually train more, or like stretch more, practice more and stuff like that. And I started to realize that, I just didn't really have the time. What I miss the most about dance is, I don't know if you guys get this sort of feeling, right? When you're in the moment, the music is at its best. You get into this zone where it's just you, the music. People are still around there, but none of it sort of matters, right? You're in this full flow state where you can be anything, you can do anything. You're just so free and liberated from everything, and everything just feels like, it feels good, it feels great. That sort of state of mind is where I feel the most like myself, right? There's no stress. Everything is, it's going to be all right, It's a natural evolution, right? As a dancer, you want to sort of get closer to music itself, right? So I think part of it is that as dancers, our bodies are an extension of the music. The more that we dance, the more that we get involved in music, the natural evolution is that now, hey, actually, where does this song come from? What is this artist? And I want to start to know more about the sounds that make me move, right? So for me, it was that, right? The natural evolution part came from there. But I would say there are 3 pivotal moments in my life that kind of pushed me to become a DJ and a producer. The first one was at my friend Emma's house party, right? So Emma is one of my crewmates from Rockers Tribe. Actually, he was moving, so that house party was a kind of like a farewell Emma, kind of thing. He was going to actually leave the UK, if I remember correctly. He was going to leave to the UK and actually move back to Italy. I didn't know he was into turntables and DJing and stuff, right? So I got really interested. I was just so curious to see it. I've never had a DJ set up close to me before. And he noticed that and he was like, do you want to try? So he put on an instrumental hip-hop beat on the right side of the turntable. And then he took out a scratch record. And what a scratch record is basically sounds and samples for you to scratch on and then kind of manipulate to add to that instrumental beat, right? So that was my first introduction to DJing or scratch, where he put the record on, he taught me how to do a baby scratch, which is just a that kind of motion. But something as simple as that, I was hooked for an hour at least. 2015 summer, there's this annual jam organized by Breaking Convention, if I'm not mistaken, right? John ZD and folks. They organized Park Jam, which is every summer. Think about it as a family day of sorts where you gather, you could bring your kids down there. You have one corner that has rap performances, another corner in the basketball court where there are dancers there and there's a competition going on. Then there's calisthenics in the back, some guy doing graffiti, and then tons of people selling vinyl and streetwear and all that. So it was one of those family-oriented kind of days where you just go and enjoy being in the sun. I was checking out the other sort of exhibits and things in the jam, and I stopped halfway, sat on a bench, chilled out for a bit, and this random guy just came up to me. He was holding few plastic bags and all that, and each bag has vinyl record, right? So he came up to me and he was like, hey man, today is your lucky day. I'm gonna give you one of these vinyls. You can choose, right? I'm not gonna let you see it. You can choose. And all you have to do is follow me on Facebook. It was a rare reggae band called GT Ninja Band, right? And the record was called Three Blind Mice, if I'm not mistaken. I still have that record today, as it's a very important record for me. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Flowski Flow. You probably don't remember me, but you are a big influence to what I do today. The third sort of like pivotal moment, right, is as important as the first two, right? So this was actually at a jam organized by two of my very good friends, Paitim and Bigo Loka. They're from Switzerland. They booked out an Airbnb, and a lot of us actually, we flew in earlier, and then we stayed longer as well. So you can imagine it was a nice whole, like maybe 5 days of like chilling. And I think a lot of my friends would know. I'm the guy who always carries a speaker everywhere I go, right? So naturally I brought my speaker with me to kind of play music at the Airbnb. And I was testing out like, some of my playlists that I started creating and collecting music at. And a lot of the guys over there, they were just like, yo, like, what is that song? Well, that's a nice cover of like Erykah Badu or something like that. Where'd you find that, So yeah, and then naturally I was just like, oh yeah, it's this person, that person, blah, 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 this and that. And DJ Snuff was just, there was that one thing that he said that I remember until today that really propelled me to DJ, right, to get started on my DJing journey. He said that if you're the guy who's always hogging the stereo, looking for new music every single day, aka digging, and the third thing is that you like to share music with other people, these are the three ingredients of a very good DJ or a great DJ. Yeah, so the producing part I think just came, pretty much with the DJing side of things. The pivotal moment that I would say happened there was I went to a jam called King of Concrete in Slovenia. I want to do a very quick shout out to my friends there. I haven't seen you guys in years. Tamala, Blash, the guys from Gore, Vision, Jigger, all these guys out there. So essentially I went to that jam, and I remember it was DJ Woody, right? Not DJ Woody, but Woody, right? So different Woody. But DJ Woody was playing, and he was playing all sorts of like records, like, in a language I don't understand, right? It was in the Slovenian kind of like language, so to speak, right? And it was just so funky, there was songs that it sounded like it was already produced with like hip-hop beats or something like that, right? And I think it was Blash who said this to me. He said that, oh yeah, Woody and the other guys over here, they dug up all the records, their local kind of like folk music and all these sorts of things, right? And, they collected it, they started spinning it, and they even like produced it into like beats and stuff. So I was like, wow. It got me thinking like, what about like in Malaysia or like in Singapore or like Southeast Asia, right? I'm pretty sure there's like records, that are kind of like funky or like, something that you can produce and sample to make like hip hop beats or anything like that, right? Maybe there are breaks, soul, grooves and all that. So that got me thinking, and when I got back, as part of the digging process for looking for vinyls, and all that, I was also looking out for samples, right? Because I wanted to be like that. I was inspired to now look inwards into my own culture, where I'm from and all that, and see what kinds of like songs, tracks, albums, whatever, that I could surface out at a local jam here. And then as part of like co-founding Left Mind International with Rush Rubin, and we started to get more into the rap scene here, the local hip-hop scene, where I've met and started working with like a ton of different like talented local artists, people like KZ, Opus Renegade, Basil, Sharbil, and also Tengi, right? So these guys are such amazing talents. They're all local. They've all got their own sort of style and such. And I found myself, working with them, making tracks, beats and all that, collaborating on songs and all that, and also being their DJ, at their events.
Hi, my name is Taufiq, also known as Luminiq. I'm a street dance photographer. I started dancing back in 2002 in my secondary 3 era. At first I was in cheerleading, and just as a pom-pom boy, and then I saw a group of Sec 4, Sec 3 boys doing hit stands, baby freeze, and the crowd was like, wow, it's crazy, man. And I was like, I want to impress people like that. So yeah, it got me doing that, having that fame during that secondary school period when you're still Sec 1, Sec 2. It attracted a lot of attention, a lot of girls. Yeah, that's what got me into dance. But as I matured, dance means a whole lot more. Ever since I started dancing seriously, like joining a crew, opening up a crew, the whole goal was to represent Singapore and get recognition. We achieved that very early on in the stage of our crew, which is Battle of the Year Singapore. We won Battle of the Year Singapore, and then went to represent Singapore in Southeast Asia, got fourth, battled a lot of other countries, and then when we came back, everything just started to die off. It started to slow down. Most probably because a lot of us were aging. Some got married, some got kids, some wanted to do full-time job. Slowly just saw the fire die out, and then just quit dance after that. Also got to do with some stuff like relationship problems. People don't believe in the passion, or people don't support the passion that I like to pursue. Yeah, everything adds up to just like, what, I truly believe that dance is a waste of time for me. So yeah, you just close off and just become a Singapore adult. From 2002 to 2016, the only habit in my life that was constant was dance. I danced almost every day with my crew for 12 hours a day, going to Republic Poly, going to Dome, going to Scape, Esplanade, like literally from 10 a.m. to all the way to 10 p.m. or sometimes overnight at Esplanade and coming back. I think the most thing I cherish or miss about that dance part in my life is wherever I look, my crew is always there. Yeah, I think growing up, because I don't have a bond with a family, and these were the people that I took up as family from all the way from I was Sec 2, Sec 3, all the way until I finished NS. I've always seen myself as a creative, as an artistic person, be it in drawings, in music writing, beat making, and I think a lot of other stuff. I really like to do things that are more artistically inclined, because my mind is just full of weird stuff. So one day, a friend of mine brought a camera to Republic Poly, and I was just like, "Hey, what's that?" "Oh, it's a camera. It's a DSLR." And I was like, "Can I try?" Yeah, he let me use that camera for the day, and then I just ran around Republic Poly looking for any dancers, just take candid photos of them practicing. And I felt joy, because when I saw the screen and I saw people smiling at me when I just take a photo, I think that sparked a way for me to like, there's an interaction between me and someone else. And then on that day onwards, the guy actually just, "Hey bro, you can use this camera as of when, just bring home." And yeah, from then on, I just started going to YouTube, going around asking friends like, "Hey, how do I change ISO? How do I go to manual? Like, what does shutter speed do?" Until now, I'm still learning, and I still feel the same fire when the camera is in front of my hand and someone else just out there in front of me smiling back. Ever since I stopped dancing, like really stopped, I've spent my whole life not doing anything. Like I've been stuck in my room, not working, unemployed, just gaming my life away. I felt like it was worse than depression. Until just one day, I felt like, maybe I should try dancing again. Which I did. I did try to dance again. But, dancing alone at a car park is different when dancing with 16, 17 other people at a venue with, sound blasting, people laughing at you, people like cheering you on, saying, hey, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this move. Yeah, it's way different when you session alone at a car park with your headphones. You still feel the loneliness, the depression in it. And I was like, maybe there's another way I can bring love to what I love. But then just one day, I just felt like, I need to do something in my life. And then I saw my camera just staring back at me, moody, crusty as hell. Yeah, I was like, just give it a try. So I took out my camera, charged the battery. It was the 5D Mark II. Saved my life. I took it out, I switched it on. I just saw, my setup, my gaming setup, and I took a picture. I was like, the colors just brought me joy. And I was like, you know what? Let's give this one more shot. So I texted, RP, Richard. Yo, Richard, are you covering an event anytime soon? And it's like, he asked me why. So I was like, can I just come down and take photos just for the fun of it? And if you want to use, go ahead. Then he welcomed me with open arms. I still remember what he said. Bro, the more, the merrier. So the moment I reached, I wasn't treated like, like some nobody. People actually welcomed me back. They was like, hey, shit, Hams, you here? I was like, yeah, just here for fun, just to watch the dance event. And then throughout the whole event, Richard was like, bro, how's the shot? Everything okay? All good? He didn't feel lonely anymore. So I went back home straight, bought Lightroom and edited the photos. Then it just recollects everything back. Like, I'm seeing everyone hyped up during a battle, during the judge showcase. That started the fire. And yeah, it goes on. It's been 2 years I've been doing this. I think close to 2 years. And I've not stopped since. Giving back love to what I used to love in a different format or different medium just brings me a lot of joy. So yeah, that's why I'm back. If I were to see the younger self in front of me, I'll just watch. I'll just watch and tell the present self that, that was me. When you're going through a lot of shit and you're going to go through a lot more, and you're still standing here watching your old self. So be thankful that you are placed on earth, to be someone. So don't change anything in the past. If you are able to, just watch yourself grow. Yeah. You'll be thankful when you reach your key, your highest point. When you reach that, you will start to understand why you had to go through all that shit just to be wherever you are right now. Always collect good karma. No matter how hated you are, or no matter how disrespected you are, no matter how you feel unappreciated somewhere, just, I cannot say this enough, just reciprocate with kindness and love. The power that rewards you is not in your control. Your reward comes from somewhere very, very, very powerful. Somewhere very, very far away. Something more powerful is the one rewarding you. So never change how kind you are. Never change how much love you give. No matter how much you are hated, never change yourself just because the environment is changing you. Keep loving, keep being kind, and I promise you your reward will be great.
Life is not just about a 9 to 5, right? I think a lot of us get caught up in the whole rat race that we work and we work and we work and we work, and we ended up this, in this sort of like state where we're mindless zombies. Find something you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be dance or music or anything. Like, I know people who like to paint, to cook, or they like collecting stamps or something, right? Like, I think that a life that's lived mindlessly isn't truly living at all.
Don't take things for granted. You know, you'll never know when you'll stop dancing or when you have to slow down. Whatever you have now is probably the best that you have at that point of time. Don't complain so much in terms of, I wish I could have done better, I wish I could have done this. But you did what you did, and that's the best you can do. You know, there's not much you can do at that point of time. So even if you have to stop dancing one day, or if you have already stopped dancing, like, let's look back onto the good times, you know, when you were still active, or when we were still busy dancing every day, and just cherish those moments, because we will never get it back as we grow older.
Dance can be interpreted in so many ways from so many other people. But for me, to make it simple, lock yourself in a closed, dark room. A very dark room, very close, all black, you can't see anything. Switch on one light. That's dance for me.